Hi, welcome everyone to the E&E Style Showcase. My name is Samantha. I'll be your host for today, and I have two lovely special guests here with me, Sarah, who's an artist, and her mom. And so we're going to hear about her journey throughout the process of just pursuing her interests in art. So I can't wait to hear more about that and for you guys to hear as well. So let's get right into it. Hi, Sarah.
Hi. Glad to be here today.
Yeah, I'm very glad to have you. You know, you don't have a lot of youth that pursue their passion the way you're pursuing it and just making a good deed out of it too. So that's really exciting. What would you say first inspired you for art?
For me, art has always been a part of my life. When I was young, I was always drawing or wanted to paint something, always needed new markers and everything growing up. So many sketchbooks I just went through so quickly because I would always be drawing something.
Oh boy, Mom, I hope she didn't like just paint all over the house where you had to clean
Thankfully,
up.
she didn't, no.
Wow. Okay, so you were a good one, right?
I would like to think so.
Didn't just draw all over everything. Well, that's really good. What are some advice you would give to your peers who are interested in pretty much going out there like that and being bold about it?
I would say always just go for it. If you want to go paint something, as long as you have permission, go do it. And just always make sure that whatever you want to do, you go do it, and you don't let anyone tell you that you can't do it.
Oh, I like that. That's powerful. You know, because sometimes you have a lot of people, because they're different or they don't seem to see their own gifts, they tend to say, you know, that's not important or that's not effective. So I think it's very important to hear something such as a bold statement like yours, like don't let them discourage you. My other question would pretty much be, what do you hope to do through your paintings?
I always hope to, for this painting specifically, I hoped that it would inspire the people that are there every day to realize that they can be more than just someone in their community. They can make a difference, whether that be painting something on a wall or going out and helping people in their community. I just hope that everyone can realize they can make a difference and that the little things that they do matter.
So what are some ways so far that you would say that you've impacted your community with your artwork?
So I would personally like to think that the mural I painted at the Tri-CYA for my Gold Award project would inspire all of the kids and people that are there every day to just go out and do something for themselves or good for someone else and just hopefully inspire them to do something.
So tell us more about, for the audience that doesn't know anything about this project, tell us more about that.
So I'm a Girl Scout, and for very much like Boy Scouts, there's levels that you climb through, and the highest level is the Girl Scout Gold Award,
Wow.
which is a project that requires 80 hours of community service.
Wow.
And you have to pick something that is helpful to your community and is sustainable over time so that it has a long-lasting effect.
Wow.
So for my project, I chose to paint a mural at the local Tri-CYA in my area.
Okay.
And I painted famous people with quotes that they've said next to them in hopes that it would inspire the people that go there every day, as well as painting welcome in 7 different languages as a border to kind of just make it a nice place to walk into as their entryway.
Wow. Wow. Oh, I love this, right? That's so exciting. How do you feel about all this, Mom?
Well, I think it's a really great project.
Wow.
So part of the Gold Award is to target a need in your community. So the Tri-CYA, which is a community youth group, already targets underprivileged and underserved community in Huntington, mainly Huntington Station, New York. So that they needed even more help. Well, they always need more help, but they didn't have anyone helping with their actual space where the kids come every day.
Wow.
So it was a good opportunity for her to use her natural gift to make this space warm and inviting and inspirational to all these kids that go in and out every day that are really just sort of trying to feed themselves past school. They're not thinking beyond that. So this sort of gives them an opportunity to think outside of that normal day-to-day struggle.
Yeah, when they look at those quotes next to those inspirational leaders, wow, I think that's so effective. This is something big that you're doing. Who was your support system throughout all this time?
It was mostly my parents who came with me to paint all the
There are
time.
a lot of people.
And a few of my friends helped paint at some points. We even dragged my brother out a few times to help us.
Wow.
But I really enjoyed working there and just seeing everyone. It was a really inviting environment.
And Sarah also used the students who used both that center and the teen center to help her decide what should go on the wall, what did they want to see. And the director, Debbie Rimler, also was instrumental in helping her decide what was going to go on the
So
wall.
Basically to have like a vision.
Yeah, so
that
before
was part of the support system.
Yeah, so before we made any final decisions, I, after school, went across the street to that Tri-CYA location, and I talked to the kids there and asked what they would like to see on the wall, and I compared it with the things that the people at the Tri-CYA location I painted at said, and then I brainstormed with Debbie, and we came up with the ideas to paint the portraits with the quotes.
Oh, that's teamwork, you know, good collaboration and everything. So with that being said, do you feel like this is something that it was like a skill that you acquired? Because you said you started at a very young age, you just like to paint. Or was it a gift? You feel like it was a gift?
On one hand, I do think it is a gift that I naturally can draw pretty well, but on the other hand, I've never really painted portraits before, so I think that was a huge learning curve for me on the first one to kind of figure out how exactly to paint them and how to get them on the wall with pretty much a good likeness to the actual person so that they're recognizable.
Wow. So what were some of the challenges that you faced with this?
I think one of the biggest challenges was the first time that I drew one of the faces, I tried to freehand it on the wall, but because of how big it was very difficult to get all the sides of the faces to match up. So we ended up coming up with the solution of using a projector to project the basic image on the wall. And we traced the different shadings on, and then I painted it that way, which ended up having a much better result.
Wait, so whose idea was to have the projector?
I think it was my dad's idea, because
Well, you consulted with also our friend and artist Cynthia Grimm, who because we didn't know how to project how to get her small artwork on a large scale. So I think it was a bunch of people. Yeah, and then we realized you could project her artwork that she designed.
Wow.
And just recreate it on the wall. I keep saying we, but it really was all Sarah. None of us could do that except
No,
her.
but this was like this was truly teamwork. Like you can have the skills, right? But then if you don't have people to brainstorm with you to see how it can come to fruition, it's harder. Yeah. Wow. Do you have any more projects like this that you want to do?
Not at the moment, but I think in the future, if an opportunity presents itself, I would enjoy working on another project like this, especially in another community like my own, where it's benefiting someone else other than just somebody who wants to look at the art.
Okay, okay.
You are collaborating with we have a Girl Scout troop that's going to do another artwork in that building, and at school too. She does some projects, and we'll have a senior project, I think.
Ooh, this is so exciting. With all of this, how do you keep up with your own personal work, like, you know, schoolwork, and just having time to hang out with friends besides telling them, hey, I want the picture to look like this over here, you know, besides directing?
So that was part of the reason why my Gold Award, I did it in my sophomore year instead of my junior or senior year, because it has to be done before you turn 18. So I knew that I had more free time in my sophomore year and that summer than I will in the upcoming summers. So I chose that time to really just go and paint straight for a few weeks and get it done and completed so that I could give them a completed project that I could devote a lot of time to, rather than trying to squish it in with all of the homework and just everything going on during the school year.
Yeah, because you have to have time for yourself, for just, well, yes, academically, because we want to make sure she's on top. And then just for your me time with your friends, to maybe just go out to concerts or just something that you want to do, right?
But that's a life skill, like time management.
Oh,
and
yeah.
how to balance everything.
Yeah, that's true. So do you think that in that way it's like teaching you discipline and good long-term life skills?
Yeah, definitely. Having to cut out time to do the project and then manage my time on a regular basis between all of the activities I'm involved in. Time management is such an important skill that I've had to learn.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think a lot of young students and just children, I would say, they don't understand knowing the importance of time and how to manage it. Yeah,
It's a very difficult concept.
It is, and I would
Even
say,
for adults.
Yeah, and if you don't learn it when you're younger, it becomes more and more difficult to manage. I know sometimes I will have issues with just managing time. Time tends to escape me, and then my mom will always say, "Oh, you don't know time very well." And so I think that that's good. You're getting a head start. Pretty soon I think you'll manage more than just the artwork project, or you'll just have your own events that talks about your projects and stuff like that, your future endeavors. So that's really exciting. For other peers that you have, like, what would be an advice that you would give to them about their own interests?
I would say always just, if you're interested in a book or a certain type of club, you should go join it and have fun, because I took a leap of faith my freshman year and I joined a club called Lamplighters, which is like the backstage sound and lighting for all the musicals and events that happen in our Performing Arts Center. And I found some of my best friends through doing that when I didn't necessarily know anyone going into it.
Wow, look at that. Wow. I'm just thinking, because sometimes I have a hard time just going out there and then going into something that you don't know, because you don't know what's going to happen.
Right. A lot of people won't take that leap of
faith and just go
try
into
something
it.
new.
Yeah. Are there any other interests that you have that you want to look into that you haven't explored yet?
Well, I've recently with Lamplighters gotten into all of the technical applications of working backstage and using the lighting board, which controls all of the lights for the shows. And that's a recent interest that I want to learn more about and expand my knowledge, because I only know the basic functions. I would like to expand and learn how to design showcases and just the lighting for general things.
That makes sense. I'm thinking, so for your artwork, since you just started this stuff, do you think in the future that you'll have like a website? Is that something that you'd be interested in?
I don't know if I'm necessarily interested in making a website, but I would definitely like to promote doing projects like these in the future and incorporating art into whatever I'm going to do with my life.
Okay, that makes sense. Because I think you're going to have a lot more projects. You know what I mean?
I think people,
you will. Trust me. I think people will seek you out just for this because of your passion and what you really want to do, the impact that you want to have. So I think that you better get ready, get your calendar ready. That's really exciting. And for you, Mom, you played such a big role in just helping her and being the beautiful young lady that she is now and the responsible young lady she is now. How would you say you went about that? What were like some key points?
Well, I always I have another child too, so I would see what interests them naturally and then expose them to that and see where it took them. And I would always encourage them to try new things, whether they were alone or in a group, and just really not judge the activity based on what others were saying. I always treated them like young adults. So I feel that shows that they're very mature, responsible children and not scared to take risks. And we've always been part of Scouts, Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts, but always in our personal lives also include charity and working for different food banks and stuff like that in our community. So that's always been a large part of their life. So I like to see that that's pervasive in the projects that they choose to do in their free time.
That's
So,
really exciting, right? Oh my God. If I can just clap for your mom, I would. Yeah, because I think it's great the fact that you let them be and explore their interests. Sometimes parents can just, they micromanage so much that
really, in this current, there's some of our friends, or I watch other families, they're just scheduled from, well, they're micromanaged through school and then scheduled every afternoon, every weekend, every night. And I grew up very free, and allowed to explore. And it's not quite the same, but I really felt that was really important for my children to have that ability to find their own way.
Okay.
With the support of me.
Yes, of course.
So,
You'd be like, no. I definitely think that played a big role, because I can see she's just a young woman on her own, just ready for responsibilities, but also just ready to help and to serve. So I think
that was always important to us.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And so with that, since you noticed her interest as a young child, as an artist, really young.
Immediately, as soon as she could hold like a spoon or a fork or a pen or crayon, she was always drawing. And what Sarah said, I was constantly buying paper and sketchbooks.
Wow.
And she'd use up the markers, and I'd buy more markers and more markers. And we eventually built like an art corner for her in the house. She still has it with tons of supplies. And they've now graduated to much more like professional
stuff.
Supplies. Again, she's never really taken art classes either. So this past summer, she did take an architecture class, because we thought that may be something that
she may be
sort of
interested in.
Mixed her love of science and art together. And she did really enjoy it, and it is potentially
something
a career
she's
choice,
looking into?
as well as maybe design and engineering.
Wow.
So
wow. Out of the two, do you how do you feel? Which one tugs at your heart more?
I think I'm leaning more towards the engineering, because I do love science and just the math and everything involved in it. But with engineering, I would also have the design aspect, so my artistic needs would be fulfilled by being able to design things and then being able to build them as well.
Okay. I was like, oh, she's gonna go towards the architectural area.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
But she's really not.
Wow.
So I'd hate for her to leave art behind. So I'm trying to incorporate it somehow in her life
ways.
Forever, because
it's a natural part of her.
And it's always been.
Yeah.
So her wall is filled with her own artwork.
Wow.
And it's just constant. So I would hate for her to not be able to pursue that.
Yeah, exactly.
With whatever career she chooses.
Well, at least she's going to be able to expand that.
I think so.
And just learn, because, I think she may have more hats than one.
I do too.
And so I think that makes a difference with being able to select the type of field that you go into. You're just well-rounded in some ways.
And it's good, because you don't know what careers are out there, what jobs have been created yet or not even made up yet.
Yes.
And as we look at colleges, we're seeing a lot of melding of arts and sciences together, which would be perfect for her.
I think so. Was there ever a time you thought this was just going to be a phase for her?
Sometimes, because then she would stop.
Okay.
She'd lose a little interest, but then it'd come right back again. So I'd be like, oh no new markers or sketch pads for a while. But then she'd immediately ask for them after she set it down for a few months. And then every year she would come back to it. And then she'd put it aside again. And it's the one thing that stayed constant, I think, in her hobbies that she has pursued over the years.
I would say the biggest break was probably between like 7th grade and 9th grade, 11th grade, because in school we have to pick between orchestra or art. So I was in orchestra for those 4 years. And just this past year was the first year that I've taken an art class again.
Ooh,
yeah, we decided that she should be on the art path, not the orchestra path. It was okay, but it really wasn't her passion.
Never really good at playing the cello.
Wow. So let's set it down and pick up the paintbrush.
Yeah, and I said, if you want anything to do with architecture or design or art in college, you really should be
in one of those.
In an art class in high school, getting a portfolio together.
Yes.
So she has a fantastic teacher at school that's taken her under her wing, his wing, and is helping her with skills.
Yeah.
Because what you're talking in your other interview, you do also need to be trained sometimes, even if you have a natural gift. And he's doing that with her, and he's getting a portfolio together, and she'll be with him this year and next year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're going to pretty much be able to build upon what you already know.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's good to like enhance what you have, you know?
Always.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just thinking, when you feel like you don't have inspiration for something, where do you seek that?
I personally like to go outside and just look at nature, and I generally like to draw things that I just see outside because they fascinate me, that all of these things exist, and a lot of people don't even notice them.
So you just have that eye, right?
I'd like to think so.
Wow. Do you ever have like a specific place that you'd go to and say, I'm going to go out for a hike or something, and this is just where I want to be, so I can get something deep within and draw it out or paint it out?
I don't have a specific place, but through the years of traveling outside and camping with my family, I've seen so many different places that have fascinated me, specifically like Bryce Canyon out west with all of the just beautiful colors in the land, or going to Canada and seeing just the whales. And
that's a nice
trips.
yeah.
Wow, wow. So that's a array of different destinations to pull, I guess, some inspiration from.
She tends to just draw or design based on wherever we are. Just look around her, whatever's her surroundings will be her inspiration, and that'll be the theme of however long that keeps her interested.
Wow.
And that she'll draw that.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense. Because it just has to come from within. Have you ever seen something that someone else made and you say, I want to try that. I don't know if I'm going to be good at it, but I want to try it?
I do all the time on Instagram when I'm looking through and I see all these amazing paintings. I go, I want to do that. But then I go, I don't know how. So then I take a few hours and I start figuring things out, and I try to do what they did.
Okay. Does it ever come out the way you expected? Does it come out better? Or you feel like, oh my gosh, I definitely have to practice this again. I definitely have to make it better?
It usually takes a few tries for me to be happy with it, because you can always improve whatever you're making no matter what. Even if you think it's perfect one day, you can come back to it a few weeks later and say, no, I could fix that part a little bit.
That makes sense. Yeah, you always want to become better than what you were yesterday. So that's true. You don't want to be like mediocre.
It's not a goal.
No.
Things are your goal.
Yeah.
It may happen, but
right. At least
shouldn't
you
be
tried
your goal,
to make it better.
yeah.
Yeah. Besides painting, though, do you do like pottery or?
Pottery is actually something that I want to get into next year, because my art teacher has a pottery wheel in the back of the classroom.
I'm
so
encouraging that.
I told him for senior year, that's what we have to focus on. I want to make one good pot next year. So that's one goal that I hope to fulfill during my senior year.
I hope you make more than one good pottery and paint it beautifully, and because I like pottery myself. I haven't been able to like go deep into it the way I would like to, but I find that it relieves a lot of stress, because you're playing a lot with the dough, the clay, to just mold things. So that's exciting. I'm curious to see. I'm definitely gonna follow up with you on that, because I want to see what you made. Yeah, yeah. And for like, was there ever a time you felt like your paintings, they wouldn't be accepted, or they just weren't good enough?
I
like
don't
rejection.
think that I've ever felt that they weren't good enough. Maybe I felt that I could always improve them, but I don't think I've ever been scared to show people any of my work.
She's always
like,
been
there's no
confident,
shame.
But I'm not an artist. I'm a scientist. So I watch her work, and so I do my work, and I produce a document, and I'm done.
Yeah.
But she'll work for hours or days on a project on her own, and then it's what she said. She goes back to it and back to it and back to it, and constantly improves it. But she's never been scared to show anyone her work.
Okay.
I would be
More
mortified.
yeah, right?
But she shows it in its bad stages, in its halfway stages, in its final stages. It's a very interesting process.
Wow.
I never really watched an artist put together a piece of work. I always just thought you sit down and draw and you're done.
Wow.
But it's building layer upon layer, and being in an art portfolio class, I think, helps her learn that. And different media that we can't provide at home. So you do need to go into a classroom
to get that.
to access those types of things.
I find it funny because I think it's a complete contrast, because you say you're more of like a scientist type of person.
Hardcore.
Yeah, she's in hardcore.
And
then
father.
You have an artist.
Yeah.
So it's like
I can't help her at all. I just offer support.
Everyone else in my family is all science.
Yeah, we're all science-based.
Really?
Yeah.
Our
Even my brother.
careers are,
Wow. Well, you came out to put some science, some art
Still love
into
science,
the
right?
Yeah, she does,
She's
right?
breaking us out of our
Right? And she's just
our shell.
incorporating it. Wow. So for you, Mom, what would you say you would give advice to other parents to basically support their children in becoming like successful in their interests and pursuing that?
So I think you have to be very open-minded
Okay.
and see what strengths and interests your children have.
Okay.
And then, of course, within your means, provide them opportunities to pursue that without any expectations.
Ooh.
So I can't like send her in 4th grade to art school and tell her that this is going to lead to an art degree and an art career and this is how it's going to be. You have to be more open-ended for that.
Wow.
And also always know that I think the path to success is not a straight line. So you have to adapt. And on a small scale, like within an art project, you change your mind hundreds of times before you're done. And I think the same thing. So she may try art, she may try science, she may try sports, and eventually it will lead to a successful, happy life.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the way you've chosen to raise your children and, you know, your advice to other parents. I don't find it as a scientist speaking, though. I think maybe some of her creativity might have come from you without you knowing it. Because, you know, I think with science, it's always like you want a conclusion. You want like...
I do at work. Yeah, I'm very rigid. This is, interpret the results and this is how we're moving forward.
Yeah.
But I don't like living my personal
Your life
life like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So.
it makes a big difference because I'm like, she doesn't sound like a science-based person with the answers she gives when it comes to raising her children. So that's pretty interesting. You may find some creativity. Sarah may bring out some creativity in you. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that update.
I did help a little on the mural. I painted block letters. I stayed away from the real art. Yeah.
I think growing up, she's always encouraged my brother and I to be respectful and to just, if we are interested in something, go out and explore it, whether it's going on a hike, going rafting, or just something you're interested in a new book, or just going out, joining a club. She's always encouraged us to do everything that we can to make us happy.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the reason why my brother and I are just very happy in our lives right now, where we're at.
Okay.
Try not to be judgmental about their
I think
choices.
that's a big thing. So since I've been saying all along that we want to follow your journey and the progress, is there like a contact information in terms of, you know, maybe like not necessarily a website, but a link where people can follow up with your artwork, maybe contact you and have, if they had any inquiries, because your calendar is going to be booked within the next couple of years. I definitely think you're going to do more.
So I think really the only place people can reach me is Instagram.
Okay.
Which is Sarah Nace with an underscore, Sarah_Nace, which is really the only way people can reach me. I don't have a website or Facebook or anything.
She's sort of an anti-social media.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for coming on this show. Thank you for the audience for watching. We look forward to more updates on this, and please follow her because we want to see more about this. Thank you so much. Have a great one, everyone.